Anna Beth Henderson could not believe she was sitting in a courtroom again, now fighting for her children. I said yes when he wanted a divorce. I said yes when he didn't want the kids, which was all I wanted. I said yes when he wanted the house. I said yes when he took everything because I was tired of being his punching bag. Now I said no when he changed his mind and wanted my daughter. No way. And here I am in court again. Her ex-husband, Gregory, an attorney, and his new wife, Jasmine, had decided they wanted the children now. 6 months ago, when the divorce was final, they didn't want them. After Jasmine had a miscarriage, they changed their mind. Anna knew they just wanted Lily, age 5, her baby, and the only girl. Her boys were Eli, age 12, Luke, age 10, and Lan, age 7. Lan was autistic, but brilliant. He just had a problem with social skills and preferred to be alone. Anna was afraid that Gregory was going to put her boys in an orphanage as he and Jasmine had threatened to do. Gregory was being vindictive because he had been reported by Anna's attorney for lying about paying child support. He had made fake receipts with Anna's signature forged on them. Now here we sat with the children in the courtroom in a row, with Eli and Luke sitting on either end and Lily and Lan being protected between them. Gregory insisted the children had to be there, probably to hear all of their lies about me. Anna's attorney is Gregory's sister Sally, and he was furious, as were his parents, when they realized she was Anna's new attorney. Gregory had gotten her previous attorney to quit suddenly, and he didn't realize his sister had taken over until today. They could not understand why Sally was helping Anna, instead of helping her brother. Sally told them wrong was wrong, and she stood on the side of right. She tried to tell them that Gregory not only cheated on Anna, but abused her during their marriage. Gregory's parents refused to believe any of this and badmouthed Anna constantly. Sally and Anna had never really been friends when they were sisters-in-law, but Sally cannot stand injustice or Jasmine and her brother's attitude. In the courtroom, Gregory stood and presented his case of false information. Jasmine sat beside him, smirking. As Gregory had taken the house, all of their savings, and also all of Anna's money she had inherited from her parents, they reported she was living with the children in a homeless shelter. This was not true, but he had witnesses that were willing to lie for him. After he finished with his presentation, he laughed at his sister as he said, "That's all, Your Honor." He sat down beside Jasmine, and they both laughed together. Sally stood up and turned to the judge, saying, "Your Honor, I have proof that after Mrs. Henderson and her children were evicted from the home she was renting, they found a safe place to live." She began to show evidence that Gregory had paid the landlord to evict Anna and her children. Even though Gregory kept objecting, the judge would overrule and have Sally continue. Sally then stated that Anna and her children were residing with her, their Aunt Sally, and also Anna's attorney. Gregory and his family were shocked, as no one had told them about this new detail. Sally went on to explain that she had taken the children into her home while Anna had recovered from a beating 2 weeks ago when the eviction happened. She told them in her opening statement that Anna had had to spend 2 nights in the hospital after being kicked in the abdomen with high-heeled shoes. She asked the judge if she could call a witness on behalf of her client that had evidence to clear up the custody issue being presented. When she was granted permission, she called 10-year-old Luke Henderson to come forward. Gregory jumped up and objected to his son being called as a witness, stating that he wasn't old enough and it wasn't fair. The judge overruled his objection, saying, "Mr. Henderson, you are the one that insisted the children be in the courtroom for this hearing against all advice, so you can have no objections if the child wants to speak." She turned to Luke, saying, "You may come forward." On his way up to the stand, he stopped by his mother and hugged her, whispering, even though everyone could hear, "Mom, don't be sad. I will be respectful and kind." He walked up toward the judge and said, "Can I be sworn in to tell the truth and the whole truth?" He grinned great big when the judge had the bailiff swear him in to tell the truth. After he sat down, he looked over at his dad and said, "I will be respectful toward you like Mom told me, but I will tell the truth, and you can't slap me either, because the judge won't let you." Like ice? When Gregory stood as if to say something, the judge said, "I will be asking questions of this young man, and there will be no objections or interference." The judge had already noted that Luke had said to his mom not to be sad. He didn't tell her to not be mad, just not to be sad. But he had told his dad he couldn't slap him. She thought to herself, interesting. First, the judge asked Luke to tell her a little about himself. Luke grinned at her and said, "Okay." He began by telling her he is 10 years old and in the 5th grade. He has 2 brothers and 1 sister. He wants to be an attorney someday, or maybe a detective. He doesn't want to be an attorney like his dad. He wants to be like his Aunt Sally, who cares about people. Gregory went from grinning at his son's announcement to frowning very quickly. The judge, being very wise, decided to just let Luke talk. She asked him about his brothers and sister. He got so excited, saying his brother Eli is the oldest and super smart in school, but a little bit shy. That's why they decided Luke would testify. His brother Lan is younger, but nobody in the family is as smart as he is. Luke whispered, "I think he is a genius. His sister Lily is beautiful, smart, and funny." Then Luke said, "Nobody in our family is really as smart as our mom. She loves everybody and is always telling us to be respectful and kind to people. Even that woman." Luke pointed at Jasmine sitting beside his dad. He then said, "Mom, I'm sorry, but Elle will try to be respectful and kind to her." The judge was getting a good picture of what was going on, but she continued by asking why he thought his mother was so smart. Luke said, "Eli had to tell me this because he remembers, but when Dad took something called the bar, he called Mom during the test, and she gave him the answers, and she also wrote all of his papers. Does that make my mom an attorney too? I was only about 4, but Eli was 6, and he has a good memory." The judge looked at Gregory and frowned, but Gregory said, "That's not true." She turned to Luke and said, "Your Aunt Sally said you had evidence to show me. Do you have it with you?" Luke replied, "Yes, I do. But can Eli come connect to your TV for me?" "Mom, don't be sad when you watch this. I'm sorry." The judge gave permission, and the courtroom was very quiet as Eli put the small flash drive in the computer, and the bailiff helped turn the TV so everyone, even the judge, could see. When the image started, there was a gasp heard in the courtroom. Anna is standing at the front door in a small foyer, and Gregory and Jasmine are telling her that they decided they wanted Lily, but they were going to take all of the kids just for revenge and put the boys in an orphanage. Anna stood up to them, saying, "Why now are you doing something like this? I gave you the divorce. I didn't take anything but my children that you didn't want, and I never reported your lies about the child support. I am leaving you alone. Why don't you please leave us alone and have your own child? It is not our fault you had a miscarriage." At that point in the video, Gregory slaps Anna and pushes her to the ground. Jasmine, in her high heels, starts kicking Anna in the stomach, saying to Gregory, "Don't hit her face, it will show." Kick and hit her on her back, stomach, and legs. Jasmine took off her high heels and started stabbing Anna in the stomach. Then Gregory said, "Now you better listen. We are going to court, and we are going to win because you are a nothing." There was not a dry eye in the courtroom, and Anna hung her head in shame, crying. Luke, crying, said, "Please don't cry, Mom. Eli. And Lan already saw this, and we were so mad that they hurt you. When I showed it to Aunt Sally yesterday, after we found it, she told me it was okay to show this to everybody. I don't mean to be disrespectful and not kind, but this is not fair." The judge asks, "Luke, how did you get this video?" Luke replied, Well, I want to either be an attorney who helps people or a detective. So I set up little cameras all over the house. Then we had to move suddenly. I just remembered them yesterday when I emptied a box. That's when I showed it to Aunt Sally, the judge said. Luke, you and your brothers and sister are so brave. Thank you. Luke turned to his dad saying, I know you're going to hit me, but I don't care. You need to be kind to our mom. The judge said there will be no hitting from your father ever again, because you will be living with your mother. Sole custody will be granted to your mother and a restraining order will be put into place. You will get to see your father with court-supervised visits only. We will also investigate the divorce hearing, and if there are any irregularities, they will be corrected. Now, Luke, I would like for you to go hug your mother, and then the bailiff will take you and your brothers and sister to another room to wait on your mother. Thank you very much for being so brave. You will be a great attorney or a detective. Luke grinned and said, Maybe I can be both? The judge smiled back and said, I don't doubt it. All the children ran to their mother and hugged her, and then Aunt Sally. When the children had left the room, the judge turned to Gregory and Jasmine and told them she had never in all her years on the bench saw anything like the video she had just watched. She advised them to get a real attorney, as charges for abuse will be filed for both of them. Also, she is reporting to the Bar Association to have Gregory's law license and degree investigated. Gregory stood up and said, I object to everything that happened in court today, and I will get custody of my children. The judge charged Gregory with contempt of court and had a deputy take him to lockup. The judge looked at Jasmine and said, I cannot believe that you as a woman would do this to another woman. First you broke up their marriage, then you beat his ex-wife, and then tried to take their children you did not even want. What is wrong with you? You will be charged with abuse, and it looks like it is not the first time you have beaten someone up, as you know how not to leave visible marks. Shame on you. The judge then looked at Anna and said, You have wonderful children, and you are teaching them respect and kindness, not fear. You are a good mother, and I am so sorry for everything that has happened to you by these cruel people. She then turned to Sally and told her she was a very good attorney, that very few people would go against their own family because they are in the wrong. You are an exceptional person and should be very proud. She dismissed court after signing the custody papers, giving Anna sole custody of her children. She told Anna and Sally to go by the sheriff's office and pick up the restraining order papers that are already in effect. As Anna and Sally prepared to leave, Sally and Gregory's parents walked up to them and apologized to both of them. They had not believed how cruel their son had been, and they were very proud of their daughter because she stood up for what was right. Anna told them that they could see their grandchildren anytime they wanted to. Just let her know in advance because she is working 2 jobs trying to get enough money so they don't cramp Sally anymore. That made her in-laws feel very ashamed, as they had encouraged their son to take everything from her. Sally told her she loved having the kids at her home. She just felt bad because Anna didn't get hardly any sleep between taking care of her children and going to work. Anna told her it was good for her to be busy. She just appreciated Sally letting the kids sleep at her house while Anna worked at night. Then she got to get the kids ready for school before she went to her other job. Then afternoons, she got a little nap before the kids got out of school. The parents just shook their heads and left after telling Anna they were going to help her get some rest. Jasmine had walked over and tried to talk to Gregory's parents, but they just told her to get away, that they would not believe her lies ever again. She tried to talk to Anna, but a deputy would not let her near Anna. The judge ordered a complete investigation into the divorce proceedings, the domestic abuse, physical and financial, and into Gregory's law practice. New Jersey is a state that does not look favorably on domestic abuse. The results were very damaging for Gregory and Jasmine. Strike 1. Discovery was made that Gregory had started an affair with Jasmine when she was his client, and he defended her in a divorce proceeding. Definitely against the law. Strike 2. Gregory manipulated his finances so that Anna would not get anything in the divorce and made sure child support was almost non-existent. Strike 3 was the evidence of physical abuse from both of Gregory and Jasmine against Anna and the children. There were ER records of visits for Anna over the years they were married, things that could not be explained by simply falling. Gregory was fired from his law practice. His attorney license was up for review, and he was sentenced to 5 years in jail. After working with his attorney and plea bargaining, this was reduced to 3 years, and he had to divide his hidden wealth equally with Anna and the children. Jasmine was sentenced to 1 year in prison, and she filed for divorce from Gregory when she realized he would not be wealthy anymore. Both of them had a final restraining order placed to never appear before Anna and the children again. Anna and the children were just happy to be together, and they were able to move back into their home. The children were afraid of their dad and glad he couldn't hurt their mom anymore. The grandparents realized how wrong they were to blame Anna for everything when she gladly let them visit their grandchildren whenever they wanted. Aunt Sally was the children's hero for helping their mom, and she became a good friend of Anna. She married but stayed in the children's lives even as she grew her own family. Anna never remarried as she was just happy to be with her children and to help them grow into very caring and respectful adults. She became a best-selling author and spokesperson for domestic abuse. After she sold her first novel, she was able to stay home with her children and not work so many jobs. Eli grew up to be a computer programmer and developed special affordable cameras that helped gather evidence of domestic abuse. He married and had 3 children that he never hit. Luke became an attorney and a private detective. His specialty was domestic violence, and he always represented the victims. He married his law partner. They had a very thriving practice, and not a lot of money, but were very happy. They had 2 children and taught them to be respectful and kind. Lan. The genius worked with his brother Eli, inventing things for use with domestic violence reporting. He never married. Lily was a beautiful, quiet young lady that married her best friend from childhood. She painted beautiful portraits and taught her 3 children well. When the children were adults, their father tried to get in touch with them, and their mother encouraged them to meet. After that meeting, the children would not see him anymore, as he spent the whole time blaming their mother for all of his problems. They were old enough to remember that it was not their mom who caused all of the problems, and they still had a healthy fear of their father. He was not allowed to visit any of his grandchildren. A sad ending for what could have been a beautiful family, except for greed and selfishness. The end.